Friends, in this video, we are going to talk about everything related to TCS on foreign remittances. So if you want to know what is it about, when is it needed to be paid, and what are the exceptions to it, do watch this video to the end. And do not forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel, and also hit that bell icon below. I'm Swati Singhania. We are unlocking financial literacy for you, and we are going to tell you everything that you need to know about TCS on foreign funds in this video. So when is TCS on foreign funds needs to be paid? So Reserve Bank of India allows on an annual basis, each and every individual of our country can actually remit up to $250,000 outside our country. That means roughly 1.9 crores annually. So every and each one of us is allowed to remit 1.9 crores annually outside our country. So what does it mean? It means that we can transfer funds from India to a country outside India, almost 1.9 crores or $250,000 annually. Now, why would you need to transfer it? You may need to transfer it for so many reasons, like you may be studying across, your relatives may be studying abroad, your kids may be studying abroad, or anyone in your family, or you for that matter, may be having a health treatment abroad, or for that matter, you may just be traveling abroad. In addition to these, you may also be investing outside our country. You may be even buying stock or shares options outside our country. In addition to this, there could be various other reasons for which you need or you may want to transfer funds from our country to a country outside India. Now, obviously, there are a lot of regulations to it. Now, till now, what was happening was there was no deduction which was happening on this transfer. But in the Finance Bill of 2020, the government has introduced a new section 1G under section 26C in the Income Tax Act. Now, what does this say? It basically says that every time you're transferring money from our country to outside, you need to pay 5% to the government on it. So if you're transferring 1 lakh rupees, you basically need to transfer 1 lakh plus the tax amount. So the 1 lakh will go to the bank account that you want to transfer to, and that extra tax percent will actually get deposited to a government account. Now, what will you do about this TCS? We'll tell you by the end of the video. But first, let's understand when do you need to deduct this TCS. So for the help of everyone, the first thing which is important is to understand why are you transferring that amount. We've divided this video into 2 to 3 sections. So the first reason that you may want to transfer or need to transfer this money is because you're traveling abroad or for any tour packages. So that's option 1. The second is when you're actually transferring for other reasons. Now, in the other reasons, we've broken it further down into education and others. Now, these 3 are the top reasons why money is actually transferred from our country to across. So let's first understand the travel and tour packages. Now, when you book your tour packages or when you hire a travel agent to plan your travel as to which country you're going to, what are the tickets, what are the hotels you're going to stay, and you pay a lump sum amount to your travel guide. Now, your travel guide will need to take 5% extra from you for every tour package. So let's say you are booking your holiday for about 1 lakh rupees. So the tour guide will have to take 1,05,000 rupees from you, and out of which 5,000 he'll actually deposit to the government on your behalf in your PAN number. So it is more like that the tour guide is actually taking that 5,000 rupees extra from you and giving it to the government. However, the balance 1 lakh rupees is actually going for all the expenses, hotels, flights, etc. that you may be taking. Now, why is this being done? This is being done because a lot of times we all know that in our country, there's a huge percentage of population which is still not filing returns and they're still getting to travel abroad. So by this rule, for people who are not filing their income tax returns, we'll still have to pay that 5% because unless you file your return, you will not be able to claim it back from the government. So, is this an extra effort? Yes, it's an extra effort, but if you are an honest taxpayer, you should not worry because when you are submitting your income tax return, you can claim this back as a refund from the government. Now, there are 2 catches here, and here is the first bonus tip for you guys. This rule or this section is only applicable if you are hiring a tour operator to book your travel package. But if you are booking it on your own, so let's say I go ahead and book my flight tickets and I book my hotels on my own self. And I carry cash with myself to actually pay for my expenses there. So I'm not hiring any agent for booking my travel package. In this case, I don't need to pay any TCS to the government. So the government is basically saying that if you are taking the comfort of hiring a third party to plan your travel, then you need to pay this 5%, which you can obviously claim it back when you file your return. So that's the first thing that you have to remember. Now, the second thing that you have to remember is that if you want to play smart and you say, okay, let me book my travel agent, but let me not give you my PAN number only, how will it matter? Now, the section says, or the act says, that if you do not submit your PAN or Aadhaar card, then you will need to pay as much as 10% on it. So from 5%, it actually goes up to 10%. So it's not so easy to escape the tax regime. So this is something that you should take note of. Every time you hire a travel guy from now on, remember to give your Aadhaar and PAN card to them so that they can bring down that 10% to 5%. And this is basically helping you in your cash flow investments. So that's the first thing that you need to remember. So now let us look at the second option. What was the second option? When you're transferring money for reasons other than travel. Now, again, as we said, we've divided it between education and other reasons. So now education, the government has been lenient with us. Now, the government says that if you're transferring funds for the education of you or children or for anyone dependent on you, in that case, you only have to pay this 5% TCS on above 7 lakh rupees. So if you're paying or if you're remitting anything within 7 lakh rupees, then you don't need to pay this TCS. But if you are remitting, let's say 8 lakh rupees or 9 lakh rupees, then you need to pay in the differential amount. So let me give you an example. If you are transferring 7 lakh rupees for the education of your child to, let's say, America, then you don't need to pay any TCS to the government. But if you are transferring, let's say, 10 lakh rupees for the education of your child to America, then you need to pay 10 minus 7, that is 3 lakh rupees, 5% on 3 lakh, which is 15,000 rupees. So you will actually have to transfer 10 lakh rupees to your child and 15,000 rupees to a government account on your PAN number. So this is what the education says. Now here the government has been a little lenient with us. Now the government says that if you have funded the education by taking an education loan, and now this education loan should also be covered under section 80E, which almost all loans are. So if you've taken education loan, then you just need to pay 0.5% of it. So we should give some thumbs up to the government for being a little lenient when it comes to education. Now let's look at the third option. What was the third option? The third option was all the reasons which have not been covered in these two options. So that is travel and education. Any remittance other than these two will actually be covered by TCS of 5% over and above 7 lakh rupees. So if you're transferring 7 lakh rupees for medical treatment of anyone in your family, then you don't need to pay any TCS on it. But if you're transferring 10 lakh rupees for the medical treatment of your family, then you need to pay 5% on 10 minus 7, which is 3 lakh rupees, and 5% on that would again be 15,000 rupees. So this is what this TCS talks about. So I know by now you're really worried that, oh God, everything that I transfer, I need to pay TCS on it, right? So it's like, isn't a medical expenditure enough or a trouble that I need to again pay TCS on it? So yes, I do understand that you may be feeling a little lost and irritated about it, but the government has been a little practical on this. The government says that if you have been drawing your income where TDS is already deducted. Now TDS is tax deduction at source, which is different from TCS, which is tax collection at source. So let's say you're drawing salary. In almost all salaries that is paid, TDS is deducted by your employer. If you are earning income by consultancy or by commissions, again there most of the times TDS is deducted by the person who is paying you that income. So if TDS is already deducted on your income, then you are exempted from this rule. And I think this is a very sensible thing that the government has taken up. So this TCS section is only applicable for people who draw their income without paying any tax deduction at source to the government. So when you are drawing your income, if you are not paying a share of that already to the government, then only TCS will be applicable to you. So you don't have to worry, you just have to look at the fact that whether TDS has been already deducted in the income that you've received during this year, and if it has already been deducted, then you're exempted from TCS. Isn't that super great? Yes, I think it's a little sensible of the government, because by this TCS policy, they will only cover people who are really trying to avoid taxation or who are not paying tax timely to the government. There is one more matter of relief. Now let's assume of a worst case situation. Now let's assume you have your own business and you draw profits from your company. Now in that case, you are actually not paying any TDS, or there's no TDS getting deducted from your income in this case. Now what will happen in this such case? In such case, whatever TCS you have already paid, you can actually claim refund of that when you're filing your income tax return. So what is important is when you're filing your income tax return, you have to keep note of all the TCS that was deducted or that you had paid extra while you were doing these remittances. So when you were transferring any amount into a foreign country, you should make a note of the amount of TCS you've already paid to the government. This is the tax you've paid in advance to the government, and when you are filing your income tax return, this can either get deducted from your total income tax liability, or if your income tax liability is less than the TDS you've already paid, you can ask for a refund from the government. So I think this is the second matter of relief. Now there is a third relief also. In case you are an NRI and you have an NRE or NRO account in India, and if you're making this transfer from any of these two accounts, either case that you may own, then you don't need to pay any TCS to the government. What is NRE and NRO account? We'll be soon doing a video on it, and we'll link it in the link here later. So if you are an NRI, you have an NRO or NRE account, then you don't need to pay this TCS. So let me summarize this for you. The reason that you're paying your foreign remittance is important. If it is for a foreign tour, then you need to pay 5% on the full amount that you're paying to a travel agent guy. In case it is for education reasons, then you need to pay 5% over and above 7 lakh rupees. And in case it is for reasons, any other reasons, so not education and not travel, then again you need to pay 5% on the remittances above 7 lakh rupees. And there are some exceptions that we've already covered. So this is a summary of the section for you. But before we wrap up, remember, whatever TCS you are either collecting or you have to pay, you need to pay by 7th of the next month to the government anyhow, else the government is going to charge interest on it. If you have any more doubts relating to this topic of TCS on foreign remittances, do write in the comment box below so that we can answer your queries, and we love to answer you and hear from you as to how this video helped you in your foreign remittances. Thank you so much and have a great day, and very soon we are going to bring more videos on foreign remittances, and look forward to seeing you guys there. Do not forget to like, subscribe the channel before you sign off. See you guys. Bye.